Good afternoon, it's Sunday the 29th of June. God, this month's gone really quick, eh? I'm getting on with my cleaning still. I've decided to do a little bit more. But in the meantime, I just got this steering box back from JP. And I thought I'd tell you a little bit about it and why we did it. Because when I got the box as an exchange unit, before I sent an old one, a new one out, well, a rebuilt one out, I like to strip them and check them to see if they're okay. There's certain things we can do, there's certain things I can't do. But one of the things that is kind of common is getting this damn drop arm off here. It is really, really tight sometimes, as you know. And to be honest, the only tool to get it off is these Brit-Part ones. Now I know it's Brit-Part, but these I think are made in Taiwan, and I've taken hundreds of drop arms off with this and I've never had a problem with it. Now you're probably able to see down here, I put a dimple in with a die grinder so I can put a ball on there, and that sits quite neatly into that little socket there, and it just reduces the friction and it stops that piece belling over, you know, for the thread. Because once this is on the, you know, on your vehicle, you've got to take the screw out, put the ball inside, and then screw the shaft, screw the bolt in. But what happened is, it looks to me like somebody's been using a chisel or two chisels under here as like a pry, you know, like or a pickling fork, and trying to get this off. Because what they did was they damaged this outer face. Well, that's not the end of the world, but I had a hell of a job trying to get the bloody circlip out, because you can see inside there, there's just a little groove there where the circlip is. So what JP did, he put it on his miller and he just took a little fly cut on the inside of here, you know, just to make sure it was round, and then put a little cutter in to reclaim the groove for the circlip. Yeah, but honestly, this might be an investment if you've got, you know, a couple of mates, or you're in a club or something like that. Get one. It'll pay dividends. I know they're not cheap. I think they're about, what, 40 quid or something like that. But it'll save your gearbox. Because I've seen guys, well, steering box, not gearbox. I've seen guys knocking these off, and they put this piece with the nut on a block of wood and beat the bejesus out of this here trying to knock it down, you know, flanging it down like that. Well, that's okay, but all that stress can be knocked onto this ball and the worm and all sorts of stuff. It's not really a good idea. So by putting the puller onto here, you're just trying to push this shaft and pull this piece back without any damage. It was a really good investment. Sometimes little tools like that, they really do pay back for themselves, you know, in time as well. You know what I mean? It's so time saving, especially if you want to take a steering box out of the car with the arm off, because it makes it so much easier, especially on left-hand drives, because there's so much junk there and there's not much room to get in. So that's one of the things I would recommend you do. But like I said, they're just to say go on. I've had to modify. Well, a minute, let me wind this back a bit. I've sometimes had to modify the arms before we put the puller on. Don't modify this bit, because it might not fit in somebody else's. But this is just a forging. You know, it's just a bit of forged steel. And sometimes the lips are rounded, so now and again, if this tool doesn't fit, just get a little die grinder or a Dremel and square them lugs off so this sits nice and square. Because if it starts to go cockeyed like this, well, you'll be cussing and carrying on. But that's the way I do it. But like I say, from now on I'm going to just check not only the internals, but I'm going to check the casings to make sure they're not damaged, because there really is some big nasty knocks on there. Anyway, So we'll build this one up and we'll put it on the shelf. I don't think there's anything really new to tell you about them, that's all. I think what I might just do, I'll do me end cleaning up. Because what I'm doing, why I haven't built this one up yet, is that JP and I were working on a tool to put this little ring in. Where does it go into? It goes into here. We made one, but the problem was we used a tool to put this spring clip into our tool using the press because it's really strong. You can't use a piston compressor because it's so stiff, it's unbelievable. So I mentioned it to JP, as you would, and he came up with this idea this morning. This is it. Now, pay attention, men. You can see the clip there. You see the groove in the clip, how tight it is? You have to compress that into that. So what he did was he made me a tapered ring, so that pushes in there. And we have this piece here that goes in here that pushes that ring so it's nice and square. And then that ring sits in this one here, I think. Where is it now? Sits like that. So that compresses together. Why? Because he made a shoulder on here with a chamfer that fits in the chamfer of here, like that. So, with a bit of luck, we use this little tool here. There's all sorts of bits, but we put that in there, hit that there, and it should snap the ring in. So we've got to line up where the hole is. The hole's there at 90 degrees. So we've got to put it like that. JP, we didn't do this, so this is the first time we've ever done it. We're going to hold it and make sure and give it a good belt and see if it's going to go in. You ready? Ta-da! I should have had a bigger hammer, but it's gone in. The problem is sometimes we were kicking it over and it got a bit distorted. So I asked my friend James if he could get some from Craddock's. They had some. What a mistake. Well, not a mistake, but Craddock's had them listed. Oh yes, we've got them listed there. And then once we've paid for them, they say, oh, we have to try and find them now. That's typical. They did that with my Series 1. And they did it also with an overdrive unit. We were waiting for a shaft and it never turned up. And they said, oh no, it's obsolete now. Well, why have it listed on your site? Go through it, take these things off. Most frustrating. Anyway, hope you have a nice week. I hope it stops raining here. We had an absolute torrent of water yesterday. Shop floor's absolutely like a paddling pool. Anyway, that's my problem. See you later.